Hi, I'm Nitin Sukhija. Welcome to India's first live conversation portal, indiapostlive.com. You can join the conversation by logging on to indiapostlive.com or tweeting us at indiapostlive or hashtag indiapostlive. But before you start the conversation with us, you can come on our site and play a game called the Vote Race. You can play this game and drive your neta. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember Rocky or Commando or the die-hard cop? No? They become the expendables. So who's taken over? The Spider-Man? Superman? Iron Man? Take a look.
Posters of Hollywood action heroes like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger adorned the walls of every gym, health club, and almost every second movie buff's living room till the 90s. But then came the era of superhero films.
I still believe in heroes.
Batman, Iron Man, Superman, Spider-Man were not only confined to the comics but came alive on screen.
My mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This isn't a car.
With huge budgets and special effects, the men in cape have literally minted money for the film producers.
You're not doing what I think you're doing.
Yeah, I am.
But Stallone and company are still producing some hardcore action films, giving a tough fight to the new superheroes. The contest remains the same in Desi Bollywood as well. Salman Khan is churning out high-voltage action flicks year after year, while Hrithik has tried his best to give India its first Desi superhero in the form of Krish. While both slog it out at the box office, it's the viewer who seems to be enjoying the most. Time to sit back and enjoy the action.
Hi, in conversation with me today is Shiv Ramdas, an author, and Sebo, a film critic. I'll start with a tweet. Pavitra has tweeted us saying, being Salman Khan or Hrithik, I love both as far as muscle flexing is concerned. Hollywood A-listers to rock. What is action hero about muscle fixing only?
I think this tweet is very insightful actually because it's funny, but the point is it actually tells us what's in common between these two kinds of films. Yeah, a lot of muscle flexing. If you break it down, the action hero film and the superhero film, effectively out of about 2.5 hours, you'll have about 90 minutes of stuff blowing up. And essentially, I think that's what audiences have been proven to like. Audiences like stuff blowing up. Why you have, say, an Expendables not doing as well as the Avengers is also probably a pushing the envelope kind of thing where the superhero of today is the action hero of yesterday. I mean, there is only so many ways in which you can justify a normal man via training or whatever, pulling off that kind of stuff. If you need to push it up, you need to have a super suit or super strength, or he needs to be a god from a different dimension or something like that.
But why? I mean, basic concept of a film is that there's a problem and somebody comes and solves that problem or saves the world or saves a community or a village or a person. Why do I need special powers? Why Rambo saved so many people? Rocky fought for the country also even when he's boxed. So why do I need superpowers? Why is a Superman bigger hit as a film?
Then if you look at the origin of the superheroes, that I mean it's a very famous thing that everybody refers to, is that all this superhero called the big daddy of all superheroes, the Superman. It emerged after the big depression era, which started in the 1930s, just before the World War II, and it went on. The depression era went on till the end of 30s and maybe the beginning of 40s, and even today's time as well. When we talk about the economic downturn or anything, we always refer to the big depression era, and that has become a benchmark. So during those times, even if you look at the original or the starting superhero scripts, the Joe Shuster stuff that has been created, they were not very, they're nowhere like what comic strips are today. But then people had, they instilled that amount of faith in people that there is a secret savior which will come and save people from all kinds of oppression that they have in the real world. So that actually started the whole comics culture in the USA, and this comics culture slowly, translated into movie business as well. And since the first superhero Superman movie came in 1951, which has these, the Joe Reeves as the first Superman, and the first Batman movie came in 1966. So if you look at the superhero cult in the movies, that also actually have started, quite a few decades after the comics era began. But you will see there is a parallel between the two. Whenever a new character has come in, or whenever an old character has been rebooted in the comics, like I'll give you a classic example, Frank Miller. Frank Miller is the guy who actually brought Dark Knight to the film, because Batman began long ago, but it was not that famous, it was not that big. But Frank Miller, he added this element of darkness into the Batman character. And if you see that the Batman reboot, Batman movies have been happening has been being made from the 1966, but it actually, the dark elements has been instilled into it from the from the Tim Robbins directed movie. That first had the dark elements of the Batman into it. So for a country like America, which has a cult comics following, it's no wonder that this the superhero culture, it would be the breeding ground of the superhero culture of the movies. And if you look at the last 10 years, most of the superhero movies that actually made the cash of the box office ringing, the cash registers ringing.
Coming back to the same question, correct, you have superheroes, it started at depression.
Yeah.
But why does a superhero film does better than, say, a Rocky or a Rambo or a Commando?
Because they are superheroes.
Yeah, no, but if you go by the
jokes
logic, no, it's fine. But if you go by the same logic, that it's basically about blowing up things.
Yeah.
It's basically about one man coming and saving. So this man has extra powers. This man doesn't have. He's not even fighting against the odds.
Another way of looking at it is, if you look at the top grossing films of all time, what they all have in common is they may have fantasy elements, they may not. I think Titanic skews that a little bit, but essentially the one thing they all have in common is these are gigantic, big budget productions, huge special effects, that sort of thing. So that's something the audiences of today really, really like. In that context, it is much easier to create that milieu when you have a bunch of people with superpowers. You can create a lot more of these, panoramic visions, this crazy stuff happening on screen. So
and you can imagine whatever you want to imagine.
I mean, Bollywood has been doing it for years. Dharmendra used to somersault 6 floors up, but that's another.
No, we had our own Patal Bhairavis and own
and the
Hatim Tais, so our own superheroes. So we'll come down to that.
We'll come to that. But that's slightly different, because I think the suspension of disbelief is a little higher over here.
So
we need to look at the technology aspect of it, because the huge technological innovations and the developments that has happened in the movie industry. I mean, I'll give a very small example. The Adobe Photoshop software that we use every day for graphic purposes, that was first invented in the Hollywood. They have been secretly patented some elements of it, and later on those elements have been packaged into a software and sold into the market as Adobe Photoshop graphic tools. So if you look into, Hollywood has been constantly inventing the tools which can actually create extravaganza on the screen. So these are more extravaganza than movies on screens.
Right,
okay.
Right.
So I mean, in the last 20 years, since 20 or 30 years, the CGs have become a cult on the screens. You see that most of the superhero movies, they have started taking a flight after this CG cult began.
But at the end of the day,
Another
the crux of each film, there is that emotion there.
Yeah.
It is, whether you're a superhero or not, it comes down to that single human emotion.
Another way of arguing it would be to say, if you were to compare the action hero movie of today to the superhero movie of today to their counterparts, say in the 70s or the 80s,
right,
the superhero movie would probably, you'd see, has evolved more. In the sense that the action hero format that worked great in the 80s was bad guy does bad things, one good guy comes, beats up everybody, saves the world.
Yeah.
Effectively, that if you watch the Expendables, it's still what's happening. There's been no reboot whatsoever. Whereas, if you look at a comic book reboot or a general superhero movie, you'll have this long-running plot. For instance, in Avengers, they were building up to this Avengers movie via these small Samuel L. Jackson clips in about 8 or 9 films, I think, in the lead-up. In the Iron Man film, he was there. In the Hulk film, he was there. So, there's a lot of thought going into story here. They're building these as these large franchises spread over. I think Marvel, in fact, has plotted out films until 2028 as far as the Avengers franchise is concerned.
We have a
I
film buff.
absolutely agree with that.
We have Ritesh with us. Ritesh is a film buff. Ritesh, can you hear us? Yeah, he's
yes, I can.
Yeah, he's sitting up straight now. Hi, Ritesh. We've been talking about action heroes and superheroes. Which films do you like? You prefer a Superman or a Rocky?
My favorite, of course, would be The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I mean, I've grown up watching all of those things. Like we've got the Masters, He-Man, and also the Universe. I've seen Transformers, the animated film as well, not the movie. So it's for me, it's been like I've been following it since I was a child.
And when was that?
Talking about superheroes or real action heroes, I would say it's not as much a difference over there. It's all about who gives you more hope, who gives you the strength. I'm not really sure how we can actually differentiate between them.
No, that's precisely what I'm saying. You prefer the superhero films to the action hero films.
I do.
But why?
Right. The reason for that is, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's have a look at the Dark Knight. Him as a character, right? The guy, well, he has actually just grown up in vengeance, right? Now,
That's Amitabh Bachchan in all the films.
Now, sorry?
Amitabh Bachchan grew up with vengeance in all his films. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. But then again, I seriously don't believe that a normal human being would actually be able to beat up 20 odd guys without any training. So that kind of sounds baseless for me. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why superheroes for me is a much more valid concept than a real action hero.
That's the point I was making about pushing the envelope.
We have the point that he's made right now.
it's a very valid point,
That to justify one guy beating up 20 people. You know.
Which was the point I was telling. It's sort of related to what I was saying earlier, where you said when it's about pushing the envelope, making it bigger and more realistic. In the sense that Commando, they said that he had a lot of training, then he basically destroyed an island. You know, if you think about it, it wasn't that realistic. Yeah. On the other hand, you have a Thor who's a god, so he can pretty much do stuff.
Yeah, but if you look at Bond films also, I mean, is Bond an action hero? Yeah, Bond is an action hero. If you look at Bond films, everything that happens is huge. It's as big as any superhero film. The villain, especially in Bond films, is always trying to use some satellite, do something, destroy the world somewhere. So, what's the difference?
No, I mean...
is Bond film a superhero film or an action film?
I would say, I mean, Bond films have, I mean, if you look at that way, if you look at the structure of the Bond films, or what goes into the making of a James Bond.
Or a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible. I mean, the credit lies in the laboratory of MI6. Or maybe, I mean, see, even for Batman as well, he doesn't have any special power. He's just a normal citizen like you and I are.
Right.
But
I would love to be Bond one day.
With billions and billions of dollars.
But
I would love to be in that.
But his superpower comes from the cool and coolest, tools that
the gadgets that he gets.
Gadgets that he uses. His Batmobile car and all these things. So Bond also uses from these MI6 laboratory all these cool gadgets. And Bond is I would say Bond is very, very close to a superhero. I mean, he's on a normal attire, of course, but he's very close to a superhero.
Another aspect of it would probably be, if you want to get all sociological about it, is that an action hero by definition looks to be representing either this government agency or this country, or he's saving the world on behalf of this country.
Somebody.
Whereas a superhero generally by nature has a very global appeal. He's saving the world. Yes. He's usually saving the world starting in New York, but he's still saving the world.
No, I still want to figure out why is the world in danger so much?
Why is New York in danger so
much?
Why
is New York? No, that's because
why do aliens hate New York so much?
Because that starts in America. See, I really want to discuss this because US, I believe, has no mythological history, right? US is like, what, 200 years old?
Well, I mean, unless you're counting Native American myths, because then
that goes away. But the current American society has no heroes. We have our superheroes like Rama and Krishna are what? Our superheroes, right? We call them gods, but they are our superheroes.
It's an interesting parallel. Bhim has super strength, Arjun has... he's a super archer, basically warrior, and so on and so forth.
So everybody is big, and all our deities are like that. Yeah. Ganesha can do different things that nobody else can do. He can eat as much, he can fly, he can ride a horse.
He remembers the whole universe.
Yeah. Shiva drinks poison. So we have had our mythology to give us superheroes. So we've also been superhero worshipping. US has not had these. So US had to create Superman in 1930s. Like,
But I'm not sure it's as open and shut as that. If you go to a place like Europe, Europe has got an extremely old tradition of native myth, like a Beowulf, which is pretty much one of the oldest Western epics ever written.
Yeah.
So they have that tradition, yet they're jumping on the superhero bandwagon as much as anyone else.
Because of the globalization, isn't it? Because it's selling.
I'm not sure. Commando sold there.
Commando sold.
Commando sold in huge numbers there.
Yeah. We have Adil also with us online. Adil, can you hear us? Adil can hear us. We can't hear Adil. Adil, can you hear us? Adil can't hear us. Adil, unmute your microphone. Is your microphone on mute?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hello, Adil. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Hasta la vista. Where is this line from? Who said this? Where and when? Huh. Hello, Mat Adil. Who said Hasta la vista and to whom?
Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
To whom?
And in Terminator 2, that's one of his very famous dialogue, and he used it in
I'll be back, baby. Who said this?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah. So what? You prefer superheroes or you prefer Hasta la vista?
Well, you think that I am a superhero or not?
No. I'm saying, which films do you like?
I like.
You are a superhero. We agree here.
I like action movies a lot. I mean, Terminator was a wonderful movie. All the parts of Terminator.
Yeah. So, but Terminator is
awesome.
Terminator is debatable. One second, I'll come back to you, Adil. Terminator. What is Terminator?
Very debatable.
Is it a superhero film or is it a action hero film?
Actually, it's more like a super villain film.
Yeah. So super villain film.
Super villain film.
They
But
hero-
then what is Terminator 2 then?
Terminator 2
So
is-
villain changing heart and becoming a hero. Yeah.
because there's a worse super villain.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. Maybe actually, look, all stories are driven by conflict.
Yeah.
A superhero
Eventually
film.
boils down to that emotion.
Yeah.
That So
A superhero film by nature gives you scope for much scarier and more threatening villains because they're also super.
Right.
As opposed to, I mean, the staple of the 80s action movies was USSR is evil.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the villain standard across the 80s.
Like we have Pakistan.
Including in a Rocky movie. They managed to make the USSR a villain in a Rocky movie.
In Rocky movie, yeah. Okay, going back to Adil. Adil, so you were talking about Terminator, yeah.
Terminator. I would say that I would talk about the character. The character of which Arnold Schwarzenegger played in that movie.
Which Terminator are you talking about? 1 or 2?
I'm talking about one. I'm talking about two. In one, he was in a negative role. In the second, he was playing the lead. In both the movies, I guess he was, according to me, he was a superhero in that movie because no normal man can perform all those actions. He was performing that movie, and he was shot so many times that movie. But the guy was, he was a cyborg, and he couldn't die in that movie until unless someone has to really destroy the chip which he was carrying in his mind. I mean, in his skull, I would say. So it was a superhero movie, and even if it was not a superhero movie, even if you would not consider it as a superhero movie, then the kind of role, the kind of script it was, it can turn a character into a superhero. For instance, for just saying the way Arnold Schwarzenegger said it in that movie, it was truly awesome. People still love it.
Yeah, it's been what, almost 30 years?
Yeah.
30 years we've been
so
saying
long.
it.
And there were so many other lines like come with me if you want to live. Now, what if a normal person would say, come with me if you want to live? But when Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying, come with me if you want to live, that really serves.
And he was a superhero with the muscles.
That's how a character becomes a superhero, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, lines obviously, people remember Salman Khan lines also. But also the story itself, that he came from out of space and he came to save this guy.
He came from different times.
Right.
From future he landed up into past. Okay, and he was the story was that they were trying to kill this kid, who could become a leader somewhere in time.
Right.
So they're just trying to stop him.
All right.
Can you hear
Thanks,
me?
Adam. Yeah. we have so Adil basically started telling us the story of Terminator. We've seen it. So we have 2-3 more tweets. I'll just read them out. Sarab Chadda says action heroes are simply more pragmatic and efficient than superheroes. Superheroes are primarily defined by their superpowers, while action heroes are defined by their actions or accomplishments. So superheroes are defined by their superpowers only, while action heroes are simply more pragmatic and efficient than superheroes.
Okay.
Efficiency.
I mean, Arnold very efficiently killed entire armies, yes. But yeah.
But yeah, superheroes, I mean, if you look at the Avengers movies, you would know that what kind of efficiency they have. I mean,
they are efficient.
On the other hand, Man of Steel shows
bread.
they can be extremely inefficient because Man of Steel was essentially Superman between two dads. One said, you know, show your powers and help people. The other said, hide your powers and let people die. So he honored them both by showing his powers and letting people die.
Iron Man. Now coming back to the because it's a very thin line, you know, distinction between superhero and action hero. Iron Man. What is Iron Man?
I would say Independence Day actually.
Independence
Day is an excellent example because you actually have normal people doing superhero things.
And fighting the supervillains.
Yeah. Even Iron Man was, you know, he's once again a normal person who doesn't have any special power. He is once again, he also has, tons of money in his bank, and he has these coolest toys and all that. So more or less, there are two categories of these superheroes. I mean, one are endowed with coolest of the tools and gadgets, and other are genuinely bestowed with superpowers and all.
It's basically, I mean, if you look at Green Arrow, Batman, Iron Man, effectively the learning is either you have superpowers or you have a lot of money and you're a genius.
Yes.
So, or if you come back to Spider-Man, some spider comes and bites you.
Yeah, but then again, that's powers.
That's powers.
Yeah, but ordinary man becomes
ordinary
superhero.
man by chance becomes a superpower and he realizes it while something happens to him.
Which is why I thought The Mask was very interesting because you had a guy who discovered superpowers and said, I'll have fun.
And I wouldn't disclose anybody.
And I'm not going to save the world. Yeah. It was a very interesting take actually, and it did really well, and probably in part because of the effects again. Yeah, were phenomenal for their time.
Ritesh, you still with us?
Yep.
Yeah. So Ritesh, Spider-Man. Have you seen the Spider-Man series?
Yes, I have. Yes.
So, what do you think? Spider-Man is a superhero or is a normal man? He's like you and me.
Well, he's someone who actually becomes a superhero again. Now, I would not really agree with the tweet that you just mentioned. I'm not really sure who the user was. I could not hear it. The tweet wherein they said that actions are more pragmatic.
Yeah.
And superheroes are only defined by their superpowers. I would not really agree with it. The reason for that is, pick up any superhero, right? Let's say pick up Iron Man. That's what you were discussing just now. Right? If it was not in his nature, right? If he was not pragmatic, if he did not care about anyone else but himself, which he initially does, but it would not be possible for him to be a superhero, right? He would just not walk down that path. If you talk about Peter Parker in Spider-Man, right, he has been brought up to care about people. And that's what he does. Even after being bitten by a spider, when he actually gains his superpowers, he is caring for the people, and that's what defines a superhero for me. Right? It's not just about one country or one organization that I'm working for. It's a universal phenomenon.
While you're talking, there's another tweet which says, Ankit says, an action hero is on a mission, while a superhero is a world savior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he just says what you said. Yeah.
There's no regionalism over there. There's nothing like
I
would not.
But even world saving,
Russia.
Even saving the world is a mission, right? You'll only save the world when it's in danger. You'll not just go out and save the world.
It's the biggest mission of all.
Yeah, biggest mission of all. Yeah. So if there's a personal mission or a social, larger, global mission, it's a mission.
Absolutely. What I'm trying to say is that whenever we see action heroes, as you were talking earlier, it's either we have got Russia on the negative side or we have got Pakistan on the negative side.
Right.
And they are always trying to destroy the American way of living and all of that.
Yeah.
But if you watch a superhero movie, it's always much bigger than that. It's about humanity as a whole. I think that's what actually makes it bigger than action heroes.
Yeah, but as Shiv said that it starts in New York.
Yeah,
it always starts in New York.
The backdrop is always New York.
But the other thing I'd argue with the previous tweet where we talked about pragmatic. Whether you're action or super, no hero is pragmatic. The reason we love them is they're not pragmatic. Pragmatism is when you see a giant army thing, you run the other way.
Okay, just quickly, there's another tweet which says, why not Indian superheroes like Sabu, Nagraj, etc. promoted in Bollywood movies? with Hollywood.
Well, Sabu is technically from Jupiter. He's not Indian.
So he's superhero, no?
He is a superhero.
So, and he follows Chacha Chaudhary.
Follows Chacha Chaudhary.
Chacha Chaudhary.
Who is our Sherlock Holmes?
No,
actually?
I mean, see, Sabu is a copy of. I mean, see, this both Chacha Chaudhary and Sabu, they are just rip-off of the Asterix comics. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
So they are the Indian versions of Asterix.
Obelix and Asterix.
Yeah, Asterix and Obelix. So
Ritesh, did you see Shaktiman when you were growing up?
Yes, I did.
So is
All that
Shaktiman
action, cop. That one is just.
there is a good anecdote that I want to share here.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys who started all these, sci-fi, movies and the superhero movies and all this, sci-fi business on the screens. The two people, I mean, the very famous directors, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, Star Wars director. Both of them went to University of California last year for a lecture, and both of them craved that, I mean, these days it's just because of this superhero power at the box offices, it's very difficult to get their films into studios and theaters. Steven Spielberg said that almost the Oscar-winning film, The Lincoln almost got ended in the HBO box office movie. I mean, the movies that HBO picks up and airs on television. Yeah. So they creeped about that. Now, there was huge criticism, around the world that the people, I mean, a lot of followers of superhero movies and the sci-fi movies, they said, I mean, you are the guys who started it all. Okay,
and now you don't want it.
And now you don't want it. But it also puts a strong focus on the flip side of all this. Yeah. These superpowers, these superhero movies, they are occupying the box offices like in such a way that for the good in the traditional movies. I mean, there is no space, there is no screen time. And if you look at the kind of figures they make, Avengers itself made 1.5 billion. Yeah. Dark Knight made 1 billion. Can you imagine it? And these, look at the companies that are producing these movies, they are all Fortune 500 movies. So maybe when they produce their quarterly reports, at the end of every quarter, I mean, these movies makes more sense to them. That's why, I mean, it's quite natural.
Science fiction has actually always been a good idea for a film. I mean, if you go all the way back to 1929, roughly, Superman time, Fritz Lang was doing Metropolis and it was doing well.
Yeah, so that is one point. Business is one reason why these superhero movies are, reigning, in such a big way at the box office.
I would love all of us to star in Ponchman, Hum Ponchi, Adil, one last word from you. Which Indian superhero film do you like? Not that there are many.
Hello, you talking to
Adil?
me? Yeah.
Yeah, Adil can't hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Adil, we can hear you. Which is Indian superhero film? Hatim Tai, Patal Bhairavi or Krish?
Well, Hatim Tai and Patal Bhairavi was not a superhero film, I believe. But Krish, yes, Krish is a superhero.
Krish is a superhero film for you? And you would like to see more parts of Krish coming in?
Krish is a seriously
I'm sorry, not able to hear you properly.
Okay, there's an audio problem with Adil. Ritesh, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Ritesh, which Indian superhero film for you?
I don't believe there have been many, but yes, Hatim Tai would be one.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my dad used to, he used to be a fan of Hatim Tai. He still actually watches it every time it's on TV.
Okay.
That's something that has left an impact, and I will always remember that as a childhood memory. Not many other than that.
Are you looking forward to next Krish?
Well, there's Ajuba.
I'm sorry?
Which did extremely well.
Ajuba, yeah, Ajuba, of course. I heard that. I'm really sorry. That was actually my favorite movie at once. I can still watch it. Although it's a long movie, I guess it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, there's a song also.
Even might be more than. I love that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But then again, talking about heroes and superheroes, I would say superhero is still a much bigger thing than just the action hero.
Sorry, couldn't get you.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a superhero is an action hero with superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because essentially superheroes don't really use their superpowers to solve maths problems. They're doing action out there.
Yeah, and they don't get girlfriends either. They don't get girlfriends either.
Well, depends on the.
No,
totally depends.
I don't know.
Spider-Man didn't get one.
Well, Tony Stark is doing super well.
Tony Stark, yeah. He's a
So one example.
Yeah.
All of them don't get it.
Bruce Wayne.
Okay. I take my words back.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Superman.
All right. You.
They're all pretty doing
Shiv Ramdas. I wish. Okay, time to wrap up. Whether superhero or action hero, they will keep saving the world. And this conversation can continue for hours if we have time. But do join that conversation next time on IndiaPostLive.com.